Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life. And today I wanted to share with you my March book haul. So a majority of these books I bought at it's not a chain. They're kind of a standalone, but they have a couple bookstores. It's called Powell's in Portland, Oregon, I believe is where it started. I also have two books that were gifted me, and I bought 3 books on Audible. So I'm going to start with the Audible books, that way I don't forget about them because they're not sitting right in front of me. So the first book I have, actually I bought 2 books by the same author because there was a 2-for-1 sale on Audible, 2 books for 1 credit. So I bought The Tower of Swallows and The Lady of the Lake by Andrzej Sapkowski, who is the author of the Witcher series. So I've got those 2. I don't remember what numbers they are. They might be 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. But I know that eventually I would like to listen to all of the books in the series, and I have a feeling that Skylar will probably want to listen to these as well, so I picked them up while they were on the sale. And then the last book that I bought off Audible is Lyrial by Garth Nix. I do own a paperback copy of this, but I own Sabriel and Aborzen, which are books 1 and 3 in the trilogy, on Audible. So I wanted to get Lyrial as well, kind of for the same reason, because I think Skylar would eventually like to listen to them at some point. So those are all of the audiobooks I picked up. I didn't pick up any Kindle books this month. I kind of go through book buying binges when it comes to Kindle books. If I ever actually actively look at the deals of the day, I usually go through and buy a handful of books at a time, but I haven't done that for a while. So now I think I want to share with you the 2 books that I was gifted. And of course they're at the bottom of my stack. The first book I have is Love Boat Taipei by Abigail Hingwen. And this was gifted to me by my friend Eric at Break Even Books. He had 2 ARC copies and he wanted to do a buddy read of this with me. So he did send me one, and we actually just finished reading this. So this will be a part of my March wrap up as well. But basically, this book follows Ever, who is a Chinese American girl. Her parents immigrated to America from, I think they were both from Taiwan. And so she's grown up her entire life in a small town in Ohio, being like one of 3 Asian kids in school. And her senior year of high school, she just finished high school, ready to go off to college. Her parents have dreams of her becoming not a surgeon, but a doctor. And during her last summer, all she wants to do is dance because that's really her passion and that's what she would like to pursue as a career. But her parents have something set up completely different for her. And for 8 weeks, she is sent to Taipei for, it's Qiantan is the school name, but they call it Love Boat because a lot of kids go there, and it's kind of a way for them to meet other kids that are the same culturally as they are, and lots of getting together and breaking up and all those things happening. So we follow Ever as she is away from her family for the first time and kind of getting to break rules and make decisions on her own and do what she wants to do. So it's about her time being in Taipei and just how she learns and grows as a young adult. The next book I have is The Rook by Daniel O'Malley, which was given to me by my friend Darshell over at Books and Planners. This was, she does a bi-monthly book and planner subscription box, and this was the February book. Yeah, I think it was the February book. I don't know a lot about this, but she had an extra copy, so she brought it up for me. Takes place in London, and the main character wakes up surrounded by dead bodies. With her memory gone, she must trust the instructions left by her former self in order to survive. She quickly learns that she is a rook, which is a high-level operative in a secret agency that protects the world from supernatural threats. But there's a mole inside the organization. And apparently they want her dead. So this will be interesting. It seemed like it was a decent hit within the book club. So we'll see how that goes. It's a little chunky, but also really nice looking book. And then the last books I have are all from Powell's. I believe most of these are, some of Powell's books are used. They're also like overstock purchased from bigger bookstores and things like that. So I guess we'll just start with the tops of the stack. I bought volumes 8, 9, and 14 of Vampire Night by Matsuri Hino. I obviously didn't have these. I had up to 7, and then I had number 10. So I picked up 8 and 9, and then now I was missing 10 through 19, so I just picked up 14 because I'll need it at some point. These are these are not. These are mangas that are young adult mangas. They take place at an academy called Cross Academy, which is an academy that has 2 groups of students. You have the day class and the night class. The night class is all vampires and the day class doesn't know that. So our main character, Yuki, is a guardian of the day class. And so she basically has to protect the day class from finding out that the night class are vampires. So I've got 3 more volumes of that. I also picked up The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. This, I went to Powell's with Darshell and a couple other friends. So Darshell convinced each of us to pick up a copy of Secret Life of Bees because it was one of her favorites when she read it. So this takes place in South Carolina in 1964 and tells the story of Lily Owens, whose life has been shaped around the blurred memory of the afternoon her mother was killed. So we'll see how that goes. That'll probably be a little sad, but also it's under 300 pages, so it should be a fairly quick read. And I'm pretty sure this was made into a movie as well, but I'm not entirely sure. The next book I have is The Princess Bride by William Goldman. I'll be honest, I don't like the Princess Bride movie. At least I didn't when I first watched it. I might now, but I've also kind of being a brat about it where I don't want to watch it and end up liking it because then I'll have to admit that I actually do like it. But I figured I would buy the book and read the story and see how I like it that way, and then maybe when I'm done with this I can watch the movie. But for those that don't know, this is about Buttercup, who has fallen for Wesley, the farm boy, and when he departs to make his fortune, she vows never to love another. And other things and shenanigans happen. The next book I picked up is The Child Finder by Renee Denfield, and this was the Books and Planners book club pick for January, which I didn't read this at the time because I don't really do thrillers and mysteries and horror and those sorts of things because I'm a bit of a scaredy cat. But I asked Darshell and Kayla if they enjoyed reading this book, and they both said they did. And it wasn't too scary. So this one, back says, 3 years ago, Madison Culver disappeared while her family was choosing a Christmas tree in Oregon's Skookum National Forest. She would be 8 years old now if she had survived. Desperate to find their beloved daughter, the Culverns turned to Naomi, a private investigator with an uncanny talent for locating the lost and missing. So this will be interesting, I think. I think I can handle it. And that's kind of cool that this takes place in Oregon, which is not far from me. But we'll see how this goes. I'll probably wait to read this until closer to fall and those sorts of things. So we'll see how that goes. The next book I picked up, I think was the only book that was, no, it wasn't. I had a list for when we went to Powell's, and I don't think I ended up picking anything up that was on my list mostly because the deals were better if I were to buy from Amazon. So I kind of just picked up other things, I guess. But I picked up Golden Hand by Garth Nix, which is the 5th book in the Abortion or Fallen Kingdom series. Not Fallen Kingdoms, the Old Kingdom series. And honestly, I don't want to read the back of this because I don't know if it'll spoil anything else in this series. But basically, the Abortion series, the 1st book, we follow Sabriel, who is the daughter of a necromancer, and she's 18 years old. When she is notified that her father hasn't been seen for quite a while. He was the Abortion, and so she has to cross into the Old Kingdom and try and find her father, and lots of things happen from there. The 2nd book, Lyriel, which I'm reading right now, follows a new set of characters 14 years, I think it's 14 years after the events of Sabriel. So I think this is a continuation of that, but I'm not entirely sure what it is. It's skinnier than most of the books. Like Lyriel that I just picked up on Audible is this chunky, but they're also different sizes. So that makes up for it. But I'm excited to finish out this series and just see what the rest of it's like. I also picked up Unnatural Magic by C.M. Wagner. I was very intrigued by this cover. So I don't know a lot about it, but the back says, there's a blurb thing that says, a brilliant and terrifically fun debut brings an enchanting new voice to fantasy. So Ona can write the parameters of a smell faster than any of the young men in her village school, but despite her incredible ability, she's denied a place at the nation's premier arcane academy. Undaunted, she sails to the bustling city-state of Hexos, hoping to find a place at a university where they don't think there's anything untoward about providing a woman with a magical education. But as Ona arrives, she's drawn into the mysterious murder of 4 trolls. So this seems like it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to picking it up at some point. And the last book I have is The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. I am currently doing a reread of all of the Fellowship of the Rings books. Is that what this series is called, is Fellowship of the Rings? Lord of the Rings, that's what it's called. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I blinked on that. I have Children of Hurin in a hard copy format, and I also wanted to pick up the Silmarillion, and I found it in, I think I'm going to eventually get copies of the books in this edition. I just think they're really pretty. They're very simple, and there's a lot of them that'll go together and match. But this is just the story of the creation of the world and the First Age. It's an ancient drama to which the characters of The Lord of the Rings look back, and in whose events some of them, such as Elrond and Galadriel, took part. The 3 Silmarils were jewels created by Fëanor, most gifted of the elves. Within them was imprisoned the light of the 2 trees of Valinor, before the trees themselves were destroyed by Morgoth, the first Dark Lord. Thereafter, the unsullied light of Valinor lived on only in the Silmarils, but they were seized by Morgoth and set in his crown, which was guarded in the impenetrable forests of Angband in the north of Middle-earth. So the Silmarillion is the history of the rebellion of Fëanor and his kindred against the gods, their exile from Valinor and return to Middle-earth, and their war hopeless despite all their heroism against the great enemy. So kind of the original story. So that'll be interesting to see, because I haven't read anything else that takes place in this world other than the books in the trilogy and The Hobbit. So I think it'll be nice to kind of expand on the world that J.R.R. Tolkien took so much time and effort into creating, and that I grew up really loving. So those are all of my books that I've picked up this month. I think that's a total of 14. So I need to slow down a little bit, because my goal this year is to get my physical TBR, well, all of my TBRs down. And some of these I'm definitely going to get to this year, and they'll be really quick reads, but others I know I will want to get to them eventually, so just kind of picked them up while I had the chance. So I would love to know if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts are on them, and if you have any opinions on what I should pick up sometime in the very near future. So if you'd like to let me know, please do let me know down in the comments below, and I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!